All right, so now let's do a couple of the harder ones. This is called Document Object Model Cross-Site Scripting. And here you have to go into the source code of the page to understand how the scripting works. So let's get the lab working. And here, it's going to be in the search function, but it's not just reflecting back the same way the last one is. It's because the data you put in as a search is used elsewhere on the page, inside an HTML tag. So here, if I put in, say, AAA, and I search for that, well, then the next page does have AAA here. So if I try putting in the script stuff here, and I'll put in like AAA also, when I search, it doesn't, you see, it did output encode. This is a useful thing to know. It appears with less than or greater than because it turned the less than character into an ampersand LT semicolon, which looks like a less than, but is not interpreted as a control character inside HTML. So this kind of reflected cross-site scripting is blocked. But you can still do the document object model cross-site scripting because I'm just going to go back to AA. If you examine this with inspect, you can see the code near that. And what you'll see down here is, maybe a little bit less, there we are. Here we are, search results for AA, this is the one we saw before. And then if you look down here, the search term also appears down here in this image source tag. So the image source tag uses the search term, so I can put it in here. So that suggests that I could break out of this container of quotation and such. So let's get this visible and get back to the page. All right, so I think what I'd have to do is say AAA, and then to get out of there, I need to close the quote and close the angle bracket. And now I can put in the script alert 1 / script. There, I think that might do it. That's going to take effect down here in the image tag. It's going to close the image tag and have the script start. That might do it. Let's try that. And it does work. It pops up the box now. So that's the kind of trick. Okay, so that's one of them. We have to inject something a little more complicated. The next one is actually easier, but there's a funny new trick you have to learn. This is using inner HTML. This is another form of dynamic ways to generate content on a page where you define named placeholders on the page, and then in JavaScript, you set the inner HTML to a value to fill in that. This is used in your modern JavaScript-based frameworks to make web pages look pretty, and the content is calculated in JavaScript and inserted into locations just specified in the HTML. And this is in the search blog again. So, okay, so this time if I search for something like AAA, and then I inspect the code near here, inspect, okay, what I'm going to find is, okay, here's the search. This is the span definer search message, which just puts it in here, and that fills in from JavaScript. So I tried breaking out of this with /span and stuff, and it didn't work. So I had to actually go back and look at the help here. And the solution is you inject this into the search box. So this is going to be image source equals 1, and on error is alert 1. So if this goes into the page, source will be invalid, and this will create an error, and the error will run that. And I'm sort of interested to see where it ends up in the code. So let's try this. If we put that here and search, then the box pops up, and we win. And down here, let's see what the source code is. Span ID, search message, image source equals 1. So it just put the whole thing in there and interpreted it as a tag. Now, the thing I'm not sure I completely understand is if it's going to execute that image source equals 1, why couldn't I just put in the usual alert stuff? And why would that not work? I wonder if that would work. If I just did script alert 1 / script, I'm not sure why this wouldn't work. Let's see what happens. It does work. Okay, that's what I thought. So I don't know why they wanted to do it in that more complicated way. This one here just reflects the data back through that inter-HTML. Anyway, there's a few of those. They're all pretty easy, and if you keep going, of course, they'll get harder and harder until you actually inject, several lines of JavaScript to get away with stuff. So that's what I wanted to show you. I'm going to stop the recording.